showed up the city band with his trumpet case in one hand and a cane in the other, and asked to sit last chair trumpet. I went, well, it looks like looks like a good fit. Here, let me hold your case while you limp up on stage. You know, it was wonderful. And the story I got was that Rob was asking Steve, his old college bud, about, hey, is there a band up there in Missoula to play? And Steve went, well, it's the city band, you know, but yeah, and then Rob grabbed Steve and made him come to band. That's the story I got. Welcome to Music in Missoula. Kind of a new thing that we're trying out. We're going to talk to musicians and hear their music of people that live in Missoula or play in Missoula or sing in Missoula, however it goes. And it was a good idea of Scott Ramp here at Missoula Community Access Television. And I'm Gary Gillett, and I'm just some local musician and retiree. And today we've got a trumpet quartet, a bunch of buddies of mine that all played in the Missoula City Band and continued their festivities together in a trumpet quartet because they wanted to play together more, which is wonderful. They wanted me to do the work and continue another band. I went, no, I'm too lazy for that. I'm retired. And they decided to do it themselves. So you'll be hearing their music during the program and then getting to know these cats a little bit. And the first thing I want to know is a little bit about you. Who's going to take it up first?
I can start. My name's Rob Wilson. Born and raised in Montana, but moved out not too long after I graduated from college. And now I split my time between Missoula in the summer and Austin, Texas in the winter. I was born in Butte and started playing trumpet.
Your nose doesn't even look busted, does it?
I started playing trumpet when I was in grade school and played all through junior high, high school, college, graduate school, and even a little bit after I graduated. But then I got into the workaday world and really quit playing in any real sense. I would bring the horn out every once in a while and play, make sure I still do it. But for quite a few years.
How many?
Well, let's see. I have to figure this out.
Probably 30 years?
Like 35 years or so, I really didn't play. And I retired 10 years ago. About 5 years ago, I decided I had plenty of time and I was going to start playing again. So I started playing on a regular basis, and I feel pretty good about how far I've come back. I think I probably play as well now as I ever did.
Ah, dang. And in Austin. So you split your time between here and Austin. Yes. You said that, didn't I?
Yep.
Duh.
Yeah, and when I'm up here, I play in as many groups as I can find. And when I'm in Austin, I do the same thing. In Austin, I play in a civic wind ensemble. I play in a British brass band. I play in a polka band. And I play in an old geezers band that's called New Horizons.
New Horizons. It's a national movement to get older Americans to play, and many times with lapses of playing even longer than Rob.
And unlike a couple of the other, three of the five of us, I'm not a music major. I actually got a degree in chemistry. I actually have
a doctorate in
chemistry, and I worked for a 3M company for the majority of my working life.
I'm Ross Tate. I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I played like a lot of people, 4th, 5th grade, and I played in big bands and drum and bugle corps and symphonies and bands, and played until I graduated from high school, got drafted after college, and then I took my trumpet up again in 1974, played in drum and bugle corps, played in Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra, much like the Missoula Symphony Orchestra, which I played in for a couple of years here in Missoula. And I moved out here to Missoula after I'd gone back to college to become an orthopedic physician's assistant, thinking Missoula's got to have more than country and western, which it did. A month later, I joined the Ed Norton Big Band and played with them for 23 years, and what a hot bunch of players those guys are. The symphony was great, the Missoula Children's Theater, I've done many of those productions, and many of Gary Gillette's city bands, concert bands, winter bands, jazz bands, and now our quartet, which is a great quartet, fun to do. So I play every day these days. I'm now retired and can play. And
Practices. He practices.
And practice. So I like doing push-ups with my lips, you know. That's
He does use that phrase often.
yeah.
And it kind of scares the ladies away.
Now we have this quartet, and it's a fun quartet because we all four get to listen to each other, and even though trumpets are inherently loud, we're trying to be musicians and
You said
play.
that. You said that.
I
didn't say
said that. I did. And try to make some beautiful harmonic music together, and we have our moments where it's just moving how stunningly good all four of us sound together. So this is our trumpet quartet. We've got a really cool name for the trumpet quartet, and I'm going to leave that up to you.
Oh, no, don't you leave it up to me, because I'll make some scrap up on the spot. Hey, Steve, tell us about yourself, man.
I moved when I was 10 to Montana. My dad was took the band director job at Bozeman. So I was there.
You moved from the Midwest, right?
That's right, Wisconsin. Yeah. So Michigan, Minnesota,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
Wisconsin. in
geez,
between.
I guess. There's some Midwest
Yeah,
here. I'm looking for Jello. In the Midwest.
It's a Lutheran church.
That's right, with bananas in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I started playing trumpet when I was 10, and I still have my cornet that
I love.
Ross plays. So that goes in. It's 19.
10, so because you were a son of a band director, right? That was before school. You started this whole thing under your daddy's tutelage?
Well, yes and no. Yeah, but that usually didn't go the way that my dad wanted to go. He just practiced all the time. He started when he was 15,
Okay.
and a real taskmaster. And of course, he practiced just all the time, and so his technique was really good. And my oldest sister, she's about 11 years older than I am. She is even more so. She's the technician of the trumpet playing group, and so they all. This is what I grew up with, and I pretty much went through university at Bozeman, where I met Rob and his wife Karen, and we had a good time. We played in the Army Band together in the Montana 46th Army Band. It was maybe 4 blocks from where I live, so it was a good gig.
And you stayed out of the draft that way.
No,
No, you did it on purpose? Wait, they paid you.
Yeah, well, yeah. $90, $50, that probably a bit.
I don't remember what we got paid. It wasn't much. But it did serve as our military service. So
right? Because
did.
poor Ross got drafted.
I did.
That was one of the options for us of our ilk was to join some kind of band, so he didn't
Right,
have
and
to.
it just happened, I didn't even know that it was an option until I got a call
Dumb luck.
from the commandant, and it's not really a commandant, but so anyway, that went fine, and I swore, having a band director and a teacher as a father, that I would never be a teacher, let alone a band director. So I got a degree from Bozeman in economics. And
Really?
Yep. So I took that degree and found out that I didn't like where I was going to have to be living with that degree.
Economics. See, I knew there was going to be some surprises along the way. Economics. I'm so embarrassed.
And it's even more embarrassing was ag economics.
Well, well, you're going to school at Bozeman. Come on. Sure, I can understand.
So
that.
yeah, so that was fine, and then I went back to school after visiting my sister, who was doing her student teaching in Milwaukee. So I thought that, and she had me come in and sit with some of the kids, and her junior high kids, and I thought, oh, this is kind of fun, and I thought maybe I should do that. So I went back and in a little over 2 years got my degree.
Took all the ed courses you should have taken the first time around.
Yeah. So that was fine, and I became a band director for the next 15 years after I graduated, and then libraries came along, and I just had an idea I realized a long time ago that being a band director is a young person's sport. And I was still a young person. I wanted to stay that way for a little bit longer. And
Look what it did to me. Jesus.
Was a good thing to do. So that for the next, basically that's when I stopped. In 1989, I quit playing trumpet. I played horn in the Missoula Symphony for a while, French horn.
Yeah.
And for about 4 years, I think, and then after that, it was 30 plus years before I picked up my trumpet again. And thanks to Rob, who just got me going again, I just decided that we would do that. And then the quartet is just a whole bunch of fun. It really is, as you can see that it's.
Hey, birthday boy, tell us about you.
Well, my name is Don Jaramillo, and I am not from Montana or the Midwest. I am from the left coast. I am from California. I don't say that too loud. And we have moved here from Southern California, actually by accident, because my mother-in-law started having some medical issues. So we were in a position to come here and take care of her. And we fell in love with Missoula and Montana, and we bought a home. So now we've been here for a little over 2 years, close to 3 years. My involvement with these guys was I made a phone call to Gary via a contact about joining the community band. And that's how I got involved with these gentlemen. My background, I played trumpet as a kid like everybody else, probably 9-10 years old. I wanted to play saxophone, but my father said, no, you're going to play trumpet. And I said, fine. Little did I know my dad was a brass player. At the time, I had no idea that my dad was a World War II guy. And he played trombone with some Latino big bands in Southern California. So he was my private teacher for my first 3 years, and I just figured every kid's dad knew how to play a horn. So
Just the way it was.
I played and all the way through school, and when he went to college, my father gave me the option, get a job or go to school. And I said, well, I'm not ready to work, so I'll go to school.
I'm not ready to work.
I'm not ready to work yet, get a full-time job, and the last thing I wanted to be was a teacher, because I was not the kindest kid. I was a typical trumpet player. I'm better than you, leave me alone.
There it is.
I have attitude.
That's what I have to work with here.
So what ended up happening is, like Steve mentioned, I got into student teaching, and all of a sudden, man, that was fun. So I ended up getting a job, and I taught in Los Angeles for my first 5 years, got hazard pay, survived, and then I ended up being in a city called Rancho Cucamonga, which is actually a real place.
It's real?
It's real. Yeah, just ask Jack.
But it's in the Los Angeles area. It's still generic
it's-
LA,
it's
isn't it? To us.
To us, anybody comes to Southern California, it's midway between Palm Springs and downtown Los Angeles.
So it's just
50
hotter.
miles, 50 miles east of Los Angeles.
Okay.
So it's a very nice community, and I taught instrumental music high school band for 21 years, and then I ended up being the principal of the school. And I went to, as they say, to the dark side.
Dark side.
I
Tell
ended up
me,
being
dark.
the
Who's your
principal for
father?
last few years of my career and had a great time. So that was that whole thing of just my teaching and working. But I played off and on, and I started playing in nightclubs when I was a senior in high school. And I just continued. Didn't play very much as administrator, so probably last 15 years, it was maybe once or twice I'd play at a school rally, and the kids would really enjoy seeing the principal being able to play his horn. Luckily, they didn't really analyze my playing, so I was able to get away with it. And then I came up to Missoula, and I will tell you, as a newcomer, I am in awe of the community support for music and live music. I don't think, to me personally, I don't know if the local residents realize how cool this is. To go into Los Angeles, you have to go see the LA Phil, or you can go into Irvine and see the certain symphonies, but it is hard work to get through all the freeways. And here, oh shoot, I have to drive 3 miles. And that is really a gift. So for us, and putting this group together, I look at it as really as a gift. You don't find this in normal communities. Certainly, there's lots of community bands in Southern California, but nothing that really is comparable to this. Very wholesome, lots of community support in the parks, local, community centers want to hear music. All of our retirement areas want to hear music. It's pretty substantial. So for me, playing trumpet and playing with these guys and writing some music for the group and doing arranging for our ensemble has been truly a joy.
Ugh. He showed up to city band with his trumpet case in one hand and a cane in the other, and asked to sit last chair trumpet. I went, well, it looks like looks like a good fit. Here, let me hold your case while you limp up on stage. It was wonderful. And the story I got was that Rob was asking Steve, his old college bud, about, hey, is there a band up there in Missoula to play? And Steve went, well, it's the city band, but yeah, I got. And then Rob grabbed Steve and made him come to band. That's the story I got. Hey, what's your favorite aspect of playing in the quartet? Off the top of your head, you got something?
The beer halfway through.
There we go.
Shoot, I was going to say that.
Hey, they don't have to be different answers.
Right.
That's okay.
For me personally, it's the energy that we have to play diverse music. In that concert, or what you will hear from us, is pretty diverse. I did an arrangement of a Disney tune. We are doing a salsa tune. We're doing malagueña. I mean, there are so many different things that we did that it's just really very enjoyable to be with these guys and put something in front of them. And they say, sure, let's do it. So to me, that was the joy of just playing whatever we wanted to play without any criticism. And that was really a lot of fun.
What about it? Ross, have you got a favorite?
I love playing, like I said earlier, with the ensemble and listening to our harmonies and thinking, well, we're just going to get together and play. But then Don started bringing these new arrangements that he was doing, and we started doing some cool songs. Like, it just kept building. Pretty soon we're doing some jazz trumpet shuffle, malagueña.
Yeah, our karaoke set.
And these,
Yes.
and we got a background tape, and it's just like, this song's really cool. It's really fun to do, and it's just the passion flows when we're playing, and when the four of us are playing and we're on, it feels good. It comes alive, and that's when the magic of music just comes to the forefront. And it's just like those moments, to me, are the passionate turn on for me.
Ooh, as trumpet players go, they've got a bad reputation for joking, that they all just going to play first trumpet. I mean, trumpet player shows up in your band and he plays trumpet, he's going to play first chair. Principal first solo chair, as a matter of fact, like our buddy used to say. And these cats don't mess with that stuff. It's about the music and not about the ego, who's playing first or any of that. And that's the advantage of the group, is to have strength all the way through the parts. And then we in town appreciate it and benefit from it because they also played in the city band, and there's strength throughout the section because they all play a different part. So instead of everyone on first part, there's depth throughout the section, and it helps the city band, and it's a rolling effect. It's a wonderful deal. I love it, and we benefit from it, and without any work from me whatsoever.
Yeah, just because we like to play.
That's it, man. Let's see. I wonder if you. As you play for an audience, is there something that you hope, are you doing it for the audience? Have you got a goal? Would you like the audience to take away, or is it just for yourself?
You can still play well into your 70s, and we just have to realize that we don't want to sound bad. Sometimes we do. And there's not much you can do about it except that you sit back and laugh and then have a beer.
Yeah.
So
True.
So you don't sound bad intentionally, but sometimes that stuff happens.
That's right.
Now, do you change your arrangement sometime, Don, to fix that, or did guys practice?
Yes.
You're right. You probably doctored the arrangements a little bit too.
I doctored the arrangements, and then these guys would twist my arm to make it a little bit harder, or make it a little bit more interesting. Like Rob loves to play his E-flat cornet. So I wrote a couple parts because he would like that. And there was one time I called him and said, hey, would you mind? He said, no, let's do it. So I think for me, I wrote to the strengths of this group. And I think Steve hit it on the head. I think that we will never profess that we're perfect. And I think we want to profess that it sure is great to make music. And perfection was probably back in our 20s and 30s, trying to make that happen. Now in our age bracket,
and he's the youngster.
And I'm the youngster in the group, the Medicare group here that we have.
Hey, I like that name better than what I thought of.
The Medicare group we have here is really, it's fun to write for our group, at the same time challenge ourselves. And I think that really says something about when we play in the other bands, people look at it as like we're having a great time. At the same time, we're still pushing ourselves. So writing, when we did the Malagueña, I said, sure, let's do it. And I said, you guys want me to change the key? And they said, no, we want to keep it in this original key. And I thought, that's hard. And it is, but it's okay because...
After the take, I heard him squealing. They want another take on it. So watch out, Scott. I heard him crying about it because they had some technical difficulties. Yeah. Watch out.
Well, it's you asked a question really about the audience, but the four of us started playing this quartet with no intentions of playing for anybody else. The whole idea was to just the four of us get together and play, and so. We started meeting at my house once a week, and we were playing. And after a little while, we were saying, well, this doesn't really sound that bad. Maybe we could play for somebody else. And the original idea was to go down on Higgins Street and busk down there on some Saturday afternoon.
Like Reverend Beck's. Hey!
But then things got more grandiose. And we added in our karaoke track, and we decided we could do a concert out in my neighborhood for the neighbors.
Oh.
And then Steve got the idea coming down here to the library and playing and bringing some other people in. So So what I'm saying is, I hope that the people that listen to us enjoy it, but I really don't care because what we were playing for ourselves, really not necessarily for the audience.
And the byproduct is that it's great music, and it's a wonderful addition to anyone that enjoys good music.
Yeah. And I think that's probably true of amateur musicians in general. I doubt very much that most of the people that play in your summer band are there with the intent purpose of entertaining those people out in front. They're there because they want to play, and they want to play in a group with other like-minded people.
Yeah.
Yep. And the byproduct happens to be accidentally and part of the shaping of it. I keep that in my mind. Hey, I understand that we've got to entertain these folks because that's what they want. So it's almost a guise. It's almost a smoke and mirrors that you folks out there think we're here for you. We're just doing this for ourselves, but it's fun to share it with you. Because if it's not fun for us to do, why the hell are we doing it?
It's like being on Wizard of Oz. We're pulling back the curtain.
And look at what you see. Oh, my God.
You may not like it, but you know what? We like it. It's okay. We'll close the curtain and have to look. And I have to tell you that Gary's the reason we got together. Because of the Fort Band. And Rob is the one that really pushed us in the right direction because the Fort Band music was probably as hard, if not harder, than some of the things that we have played on this concert. And we knew that this Fort celebration was important, but we really wanted to give that music some power because historically, what is it, 100 plus years?
Yeah, 120 years. And he's talking about the Iron Riders Festival that happened, and all the folks came from out of town and celebrated the Bicycle Corps' trip to St. Louis. And we put together a recreation band of that, and I asked these four cats to play in it. And before we ever had rehearsals, they started rehearsing themselves. They got together on their own, and to work out the parts. So when we had rehearsal, it was like, hey, and we had something to hang our hat on. Everyone else just kind of joined on board, and it was such a great time, but it was a lot of extra work. And Rob, he harassed me like, hey, can't we continue this period band? Because we do have a lot of music for it. And I was just too lazy in my retirement to do both. And so he went, well, I'm going to do something else then. Well, good. Look what happened. And we all benefit from it. And we'll do the period band again. I promise. Right. Once a year, at least. Something that we haven't touched on?
On the foundation board, and it would be sitting in this part of the library, in this world's greatest library.
Don't question that.
I would be remiss if I didn't comment on the fact that if you haven't been to the new public library, get down here and take advantage of it. And MCAT is a major portion of it now. It's really quite nice.
And we're in the studio right now, and the concert was up in the Cooper Room.
That's right.
A worldwide view up there. It's beautiful. And we got some shots, I think, of that particular view, too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool? Speaker for everybody. It sounds like a preacher.
Waiting for that beer, buddy.
Hey, I hope that you enjoyed this first program. If you have some ideas for folks you'd like to hear and see on the program, let me know. I'm not going to do any every single week thing because I'm retired. You know, I'll do them whenever it fits, you know. And like this one, I just stumbled into it after the fact. And I've got some ideas about folks to talk to, musicians that have got great stories to tell and great music to share, and then a venue to share it with here on Missoula Community Access Television. So if you got some ideas, you know, you can always check into the Missoula City Band Facebook page and give me some ideas. Or if you know me, just call me. If you don't know me, don't call me. Good night.
All right.